I always forget to unmute my mic. Hi, welcome in. Where's the streamer? I was feeding my fish, so we will touch on that. I've got a lot of updates. So last stream I just got affiliate, so I'm still like working things out. Here, I moved my thing in front of me. I'm still working things out. But I did get a lot done, which I'm very excited about. So we are going to go over a few things today. I put together a presentation, and afterwards, questions can be asked. Afterwards, we're gonna play Hollow Knight. I'm hoping maybe the tracking looks a little bit better because I did move my camera right in front of my face instead of to the left. Hi Eric, welcome in. So we'll see how that goes. For the meantime, hi Ruber. I'm not stinky. You got my sister telling me I'm stinky now. I'm very excited. I have explanations. I'm going to be working on my website later. That way you guys can see more of the AU, I guess. That's just if you're interested. But I am going to be putting together like a proper AU, and I'm going to start developing one again. Hopefully, honestly, I think I would like to host D&D streams. I think that could be really fun. Hi, Benny. Welcome in. I think a D&D stream could be very fun. I've DM'd before, and it's something I'm willing to do again. So I think that's really exciting. I'll just work on redeveloping the AU, and my Zona will be canon within the AU, but it wouldn't be interactable. Having a I haven't even gotten to it. So that's we'll go over it later. No reveal anymore. One of the new things I added was a redeem for smiling. That way I'm not just blank facing the camera when I talk and when I play games. It is to fix my face. So of course it stops working the moment I start streaming. Hello. I had it keybound and everything. Hold on. Let me fix this. I literally went through and I did all of the keybinds. And I tested this one earlier. Oh. My number lock was off. That's the redeem. Pro streamer. Yeah, I have no emotes. Guys. I haven't even gotten to it. Hold on. Let me pull up the... Wait, let me pull up the thing. Let me move chat over and we'll go over the... Is this Dream the VTuber? No! No, this is the Redeem the VTuber. Okay, let's... Let me pull this up. Impossible we found Dream's alt account. No, I swear. I clicked the wrong button. Here we go. There we go. I'll put this here. Huh? Why did it do that? Wait. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I swear I'm getting this. I had to fix it. Okay, so. Oh, let me move chat. It's kind of in the way, isn't it? You guys are in the way. Here, I'll sit you guys over here right next to me. How's that? There. We're next to each other. Okay, so. Possible. Why is OG smiling? We have new emotes. We have new emotes. Very, very exciting. I have public emotes and I have subscriber emotes. I wanted to have a bit of both, so I'm very happy with them. I did all of them last night. I have more emote ideas, but it was almost 4 a.m. by the time I went to bed, and I figured it would probably be better if I waited to do more until later. So keep an eye out for new emotes. I am also going to be working on getting animated emotes. Wait, I forgot to... I moved only the... Man, they need to be pinned together. You guys are still in the corner. There. I'm a pro streamer, I swear. Anyways. I have public emotes and I have subscriber emotes. I'm gonna work on getting animated emotes as well. And I've got a couple more emote ideas that I want to execute, so just keep an eye out for those. When I make a Discord eventually, I have plans for like 500 subscribers. So when I hit 500 subscribers, that's my goal right now. 100 is like the starting point, but for like actually making things and doing things. 100 is 500 is not 500 subs, not 500 subs. 500. No, sorry, followers. I was thinking YouTube terms. No, followers. No, that's too many. That's too many. When I get to 500 followers, then I will set up a Discord, things like that, and the emotes will also be public. I may lower that later to 200 once I do some more thinking. 5 minutes have passed. At 5 minutes, it does automatically go away. I will, once I like get more going, and figure my stuff out. I might change it to 200. We'll see how that goes. But I am very excited about the emotes. Also, I have an informational on me. So, I'm Mochi, obviously. Oops. We don't need to see that. I thought I would set up some information about my Sona and some of my lore. Because I wanted to touch on this last time, and it was a bit rushed, and I don't think it... I don't know. I just don't think it was as good as it could have been, explanation-wise. So I have my own notes here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Ochi. Yeah. So this is my Sona, naturally. Fox girl from a fantasy world fell into a liminal space, and the liminal mana eroded her mana, and she became a part of the liminal space as an entity. This way, I thought it would make more sense. I am using a pre-made model. It's a very, very good one that I'm so happy with. It's very, very cute. However, I'm not able to represent the skinned part on the ear and on my face. So that's something when I eventually get a custom model, something I'd really like. I think it would also be fun if there was just like a permanent blood drip animation like this, because that is a thing. I did end up dropping the mortuary scar on the chest. It didn't make sense in the long run. I couldn't make that work. So that's no longer a thing in this reference sheet. I'm either going to, I'm thinking, commission somebody who is better at art than I am for a reference sheet. Like, you know, for a longer term thing, just because I only stay satisfied with my art for a limited amount of time. So I think it's just easier if I commission somebody potentially for a reference sheet, because then I don't have to worry about getting tired of it too quickly. What else? Oh, for the liminal realms, it's gonna be its own realm type deal. I think similar to other liminal AUs, she is able to explore, like, go through the realm, through the, like, spaces, glitches in the floor, whatever. You can travel through the liminal realm. The only place that felt like home was the aquarium. It was full of dead water when she got there. If you aren't familiar with what dead water is, it's water that has not been aerated, that, like, no flow, no aeration, that has been stagnant for a very long time. Usually there's very, very dangerous, what is it? Bacterias, things like that in there. Very, very gross stuff. So lots of dead water. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Meow. Killing myself. Hi, Meow. What else? I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Oh, right. All right. Dead water. Dead water. So with dead water, it's essentially just disgusting. That's where you get, like, brain-eating amoebas, from my understanding, at least. In aquariums, I haven't been to one personally yet, behind the scenes. I'm very excited to go to one, because I have the opportunity to check that out within the next few months. I won't elaborate on why, but I am very excited about it. I am hoping to see it. I imagine there are large drains where they can drain the water in the aquariums and the tanks. I imagine she just drains it, manages to not die, With I imagine there are liminal spaces with fresh water. I will say the reason she has the skinned parts on her face and on her ear is because she uses flesh and blood sacrifice for stronger mana to create fish, like live creatures, fish, snails, whatever. That's really important because because she used blood sacrifice, she was able to create permanent beings that she doesn't need to maintain with magic. I'm getting into magic rules now. She made permanent beings. She doesn't need to like keep track of with magic. She also, however, maintains and grows plants, which are they're not flesh and blood, so you can't maintain them with flesh and blood to make them permanent entities. They will need to be maintained magically to combat the liminal space trying to revert to what it was before. In my head, liminal spaces, I think they're super interesting because they have a sense of permanence. There is a base idea of what that liminal space is supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like. And I think as if it's a live entity, it could regenerate itself back to its original form. If you get rid of something, it will come back. If you move something, it will move back into place over time, of course. So if you like make major changes, or like say you like try knocking at a wall, that wall is going to be back in place after a specific amount of time, because the liminal space, it has a preset that you can't go outside of, which I think is really cool. I think it's one of those like work with it, not around it. You can't, or work around it, not with it. So she works around it. The aquarium space that she's in, she's able to work around it. She can't, the water that doesn't like come back, she is maintaining those spaces. It's not gonna kill the fish either or shorten the lifespan of the things inside of it. I don't know, but she can't like move an aquarium. Say she wants to move like a small exhibit to a different area, like maybe like a 40 gallon, she wouldn't be able to move it. It would go back to its original place, and that would also eliminate whatever was inside of it, which means she would need to completely restart the work. So that's how that's working. Maintaining plants and stuff also, I believe, would also fall under aquatic plants and corals, things like that. That way, you know, they're not physical beings. She would have to maintain them. Duplication spells, I think, would also be really, really great, just because with duplication spells, you have the ability to duplicate existing supplies, so she never really has to worry about running out. And that's my lore. That is my lore. That's just information dump. I think it's very fun stuff, and I'm gonna like make a space on my website to put all of this. That way I can just dump, like, info dump on there. When it comes to new stuff, I'll move here. Oh, if you guys have any questions at any point, feel free to ask. I would love to answer questions. Lore. I do have channel points now. So I have new rewards. There's the default rewards, obviously, but I also have a couple custom rewards. One of them, you saw it at the beginning. It's a Smile Oshi. This feels like class. I need to take notes. I love explaining things. I love presentations, honestly. I'm a very big fan and plan to do more in the future, just because it is something I really have fun doing. This was a really fast one that I sort of just threw together. So it's not the best. I have made much prettier ones, and I'm really good with scripts, so something for the future. I've got the Smile Ochi reward. So any custom rewards, in case you aren't familiar, are free. They literally, again, only cost your time. You will gather them over time. So we'll say that channel points, they're bubbles. You gotta collect bubbles. The Smile Ochi, that one is a PNG that goes over my face. So if you redeem that, it lasts for 5 minutes, and you can redeem it whenever you want. There's also a small doodle request that will be a mouse-drawn doodle. If I'm like drawing during a stream, I may do an actual drawing. I just need to figure out my webcam setup for that, because I sit not facing my webcam usually when I'm drawing. There's no 100k point redemption for end stream. No. Maybe I'll make that a bits thing. Maybe if like somebody donos $100, maybe I'll do that. For now, I'm not gonna do that, because somebody inevitably will do that, and that's gonna mess with my plans. Oh, for the small doodle request, it's mouse drawn if I am playing a game. Maybe hands drawn if I'm not. It'll be an MSP doodle, usually. Maybe on the once off it won't be. We'll see. And there's only 3 per stream, so request wisely. But I will just like make a note and then do it at the end of stream. And here's a fun one. I have new expressions. I did figure out the toggles for the expressions, so you guys can see the expressions. I've got this one. Oh, come on. Oh, wait, I might have locked it again. Oh, wait, no, it is working. I forgot this is the cry one. The cry one doesn't show as well. And then, what else do I have? I'm looking at my notes. This one. This one I'm considering keeping as a permanent fixture on my eyes. I do think it looks super cute. You just noticed the freckles. Yeah. I've got freckles. They're very, very light. I haven't seen the sun in a very long time. Resin gun? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I've also got... I've got this one. No, I don't watch Naruto. I've tried. I've given it, I want to say like 2 or 3 honest effort, like goes. I have tried watching it, couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. No, it's not an age thing. I just don't like Naruto, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'm the problem. More into I show speed in 67. I don't even watch I Show Speed. I will defend the 67 one because that's that's accurate. Oh, I've also got this one. I think this one's very cute. Little sparkle eye action. And then I've got this one. A little blush. And I have this one. I think it's very cute. I'm not sure when I'll use it, but I'm sure it will be utilized at some point. Let's see. I've also got this one. Please don't know. Please. I could use the money. I like that one too. I think a lot of the expressions are very cute. I was nervous to set them up at first because with the expressions, I was concerned. I lost my train of thought again. I was concerned with the expressions that I wouldn't be able to apply them to this one, but you can combine expressions, which I should have known. I've seen it happen before, but in my head, I didn't put that information together. Oh, I've also got this one. This is what I look like in real life. And I got this one. This one I can see myself utilizing a bit more, honestly. I'll probably be using it more. I think it's very cute. Gold digger. Yeah. Classic gold digger. It's terrible. Those are the new expressions. Very exciting stuff. I'll do my best to start utilizing them. I'll try to use them on a more regular basis. We'll see how that goes though. Right there. Okay. For the presentation, we still have slides. This is my fish tank. It felt only appropriate to actually share my fish tank. Do I have to toggle them manually? Yes, I do. I have combinations, and I do like a control and then my number pad combination. Right now, because I don't have the emotes memorized quite yet, I have hotkeys set up. Oh wait, not hotkeys set up. I have a note. I've got like my notepad sitting against my pencil holder. And it's got a list of what the toggles are for everything, and that's what I was looking at. This is my fish tank. It is a 40-gallon. It's... It could probably use more plants. It looks a little bare. But, this is my... I don't know, it's a lot of plants. I don't know. I could probably fit more. You never know. Look, there's all this space right here. I'm actually, the forest is not very dense, and I'm propagating a lot right now to try and make it thicker. Might as well plant a tree in there. I've looked at mangroves. I'm not even kidding. I've looked. I've considered it. I'm concerned that I'm gonna end up planting too many plants and it's just gonna sap nutrients, because I've also got pothos. I have three pothos plants up here. This is the largest one right here. I've got a little one right here that's hanging off of it, and then I've got this one right here. I have a lot of like, I've got a lot of fish that, not fish. I was looking at Fuyo. She's right here. I've got a lot of plants that are very heavy root feeders. So I've got a lotus right here. I've got the swords, things like that. So I need to refresh the root tabs a lot. I am concerned about the water column nutrients a little bit because of the pothos, but they seem to be doing well. I have mollies. I've got danios, pencilfish, cuckoo catfish, amano shrimp, snails. I have 3 different types of snails. I have ram's horn, bladder, and Malaysian trumpet snails. You can see shells along here. Those are not alive. This is a pretty much self-sustaining tank. I don't really do any, if not much maintenance. I don't know. I'm a bit lazy with my tank, but it does really well maintaining itself. I could probably get away with scraping the walls a bit to get some algae off, but it's not that bad, so I'm not really concerned about it. So fast. Okay. Thank you for the redeem, Bozo. I love my tank so much. So much. I have 8 mollies, and all of them have names except for 2. There are 2 mollies I have yet to name. But they're all new girls. I got 4 new girls a couple days ago. So I've got 8 mollies. I've got a handful of Danios, handful of pencilfish. Pencilfish I learned after I got them. When I bought them, they were advertised as being able to handle up to 8.0 pH. There is a lot of conflicting and confusing information when it comes to aquatics online, I've noticed. But pencilfish, they were advertised as handling up to 8.0. A bunch of them died. I think the ones that are remaining, you can see a pencilfish right here. Just that stripe with the red on top, that's a pencilfish. They're very small. Only a handful of the ones that I bought survived. Turns out they can only handle, or they do better with a bit of a lower pH. My pH is 7.8. Usually, I think, if I remember correctly, it's like 7.5, something like that, a bit lower. Maybe a bit lower than that. But because of that, I learned don't trust seller sites. It was a reputable site. Like I do really enjoy buying from them, but cross-referencing information, I thought I could get away with not doing that because they're so good. That's my bad. Danios, however, can handle harder water, so I do have plenty of them to make the tank a bit more active. My Amanos are doing super well. They're very active. It's fun watching them swim around at night. I have 1 ram's horn snail in my fish tank. I don't have a picture of it. I'll have to post it on Twitter later. It's got a white shell and a pink body, and that one's my favorite ram's horn in the entire tank. Really easy to single it out because it's the only one that's like that. And then I've got a bunch of fat Malaysian trumpet snails. You can't really see them in the picture, but they do look very, very cute if you look them up. They look like, what is it? I guess you could say they look like trumpets, but they have heart-shaped mouths and they've got spiky shells, and they will bury themselves under the sand. So I don't see them a whole lot unless I'm really looking at the sand. If you're not, originally I wanted this tank to be wall-stead, but I kept having nightmares about all of my plants melting and my fish dying from a severe crash. So I did get a filter. I think if the filter failed, because I do turn the filter off for feedings, if the filter failed, they would be fine. I'm convinced of that just because I have so many plants. And I've got a lot of the pothos, they absorb a lot of nutrients. The floaters, I'm not sure what how much nutrients the red roots absorb, just because I know when it comes to water lettuce absorb a lot of nutrients from the water column, and it was actually making it difficult for other plants to grow when I had them at that point. I didn't put them in this tank. I think water lettuce are super cute, and they also flower similar to red root floaters. But the water lettuce has very, very long, very pretty roots, and I fear they would just get tangled in all of the tall plants that I have, similar to the pothos roots. You can see them over here and back here. They have a very extensive root system. I would not be able to handle water lettuce for that reason. I'm not sure what the impact is with the red root floaters, but I do also have salvinia. I think this one right here, you can see the roots are shorter and darker. This is salvinia. I am wishing that I had pictures now so I could like walk you through each of the different parts of my tank. But if you look up salvinia, you're not gonna get the salvinia I have, actually. So I will... Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can download some pictures to show you guys really quick. Red root floaters are perfect for neo shrimps. I know. I would have gotten neos. My sister, I was concerned that they wouldn't be able to handle how hard the water was. My sister confirmed that they can. I think I absolutely would have gotten some if I knew that. I'm actually, I think aquatics is a bit of an addiction. I am gonna be setting up a second tank probably next spring. Just because with a second tank, I would be able to get a beta, and that is something I want. If I got a beta, I would also have neo shrimps. It would be like a 15 gallon. It would be heavily planted. I can just propagate from my current tank. Let me pull up the salvinia I have. It is fun stuff. It's very fun stuff. Salvinia natans. I think the salvinia I have is very, very pretty. It does grow very, very fast. I have to nerf it quite a lot. Same with the red roots. They grow so fast. It's not even funny. Open image on your tab. Save image. Here we go. I'm just gonna throw this on really quick. This is the salvinia I have. It's so pretty. It's very, very pretty. It grows very fast. I really like it. There are other types of salvinia. There's a flatter one that grows longer roots, similar to the red roots. But I mean, if I got the option to choose, and I think this one's way prettier. It looks like flowers, almost, right? And I think it's very, very fun seeing how easily they repel water. So those are the floaters I have. These plants back here, they're growing above the water, and I'm letting them grow taller. They are a bit taller than when I last took this picture. I think this picture was taken a few days ago. When plants are, let's go over the benefits of having plants above water. So Diana Wallstead, I did read her book. Very, very interesting stuff in my opinion. From my understanding, when you have plants above water, they are able to bring more CO2 down into the water itself, which is beneficial to the plants under the water. Underwater plants have a very difficult time getting CO2. There is this barrier between the plant and the CO2 that makes it difficult for the CO2 to go inside of the plant. When they grow above the water, it gives them more access to CO2, which encourages them to grow faster, because that's what plants need to grow quicker. Something I probably wouldn't recommend, but I have experienced and experimented with after the first time it happened, because it happened a second time to me, is bacterial blooms. When you're starting up a fish tank, it's really, really easy to get a bacterial bloom before the fish tank establishes. So bacteria, when they produce a lot of CO2. They like eat the oxygen and they create CO2, and it can suffocate your fish. So if you have a bacterial bloom, take care of it. Almost impossible in a heavily planted tank because there's just no real place for the bacteria to thrive if you're like doing it right for the most part. But it does cause the plants to absolutely explode, because with all of the excess CO2 from the bacteria that's like being produced by the bacteria in the tank, the plants just eat it up and they grow so fast. And the first time it happened, I went off of like that knowledge of, okay, plants eat CO2, bacteria produces CO2. It should alleviate the bloom very, very quickly if I plant more plants. So I did that and they went away really fast. I actually, when I first set up this tank, had another bacterial bloom. The first one was because of a grapevine that I tried using as a wood. Terrible idea, in my experience at least, because that just caused a horrible bacterial bloom. It didn't work very well. And I did sanitize it. I did sanitize it properly. I boiled it and everything. This tank, I don't even remember. I have more important things to worry about. But there was a bit of a bacterial bloom. Planted more plants. They grew super fast and took care of the bacterial bloom. Easy. In my head, I think it's possible to do like force a bacterial bloom probably to grow plants quicker. However, you're gonna get nastier fucking water from that, so maybe don't. Because if you put your hands in it and you have a cut during a bacterial bloom, you're at a very high risk of fisher's hand, which is just gross and dangerous. So it's already a risk. Why do it with, why make the water dirtier, you know? What else? I lost my train of thought. That's my fish tank though. I think it's very, very fun. That's all I have planned. I just wanted to show off my fish tank. I wanted to share everything. My plants are doing super well. I'm excited to start a second fish tank. I do love aquatics so much. It's honestly a bit of an, I think probably is a bit of an addiction. I'm like trying to stop myself from making a second tank, and I have been trying to stop myself for a little while. So finally like trying to give into it during spring is pretty bad. Having said all of that, I think we can play Hollow Knight for a bit. Let me move things around. So if you guys here, what's this? That's not important. Let me open up Hollow Knight. Oh god. Another smile redeem. It can't be that bad, guys. It really can't, right? It's... It can't be that bad. My sister said, yeah! Man, much better. Great, now my expression finally matches my voice. This is awesome. Let me pull up my game. I remember some things with Hollow Knight. Do channel redeems pop up as alerts? I don't think they do. I'll have to fix that later. Is my... Okay, it is. It is working. It feels like every time I go to set up a game, I'm just hungry. Like midstream, I'm like, I'm starving. This sucks. Let's see. Now I gotta draw. Now I gotta add that to my reference sheet. I think the paper might be a permanent fixture. Oh, you got it, guys. Let me, while I'm here, move my... Let me move chat back. These are still, like, tiny and in the corner. There we go. All right, guys. Okay. If I remember correctly, last time I played, I needed to go right. My volume is very loud. Hold on. There you go. I think I need to go right. Probably should have checked my map. I will go back towards... Okay, I'm remembering controls. Oops. I'm gonna go back towards the, what is it? Oh, you know what? I need to change my category. We're not chatting anymore. We're playing Hollow Knight. There we go. I think I need to go up towards the... Oop! My bad. The minor girl. Move the mic a little bit. She's up further a little bit. remember correctly, there's a ground thing that I need to break through, but I don't think I'm strong enough to do that yet. I'm gonna see what I can do. I think she's down here. I'm gonna see what I can do, but I'm not entirely confident. Oh. I love her. Bye, Meow! Thank you for coming! Oh, there we go. Oh, wait, was I supposed to... There was a thing I needed to... It was an elevator? Is it up here? It is, it is. I'm pretty sure this is what I need to go through to progress, but I'm not... I don't think I'm quite able to do that yet, and I didn't see any... I don't remember seeing any, like, badges I could get to break through that. Oh, wait. I defeated Hornet. What's that tube station down there? I don't remember what that is. I'm rusty. It's been a minute since I've played. Not too far, that's good. I actually decided I'm really pro at this game. Watch this. Oh. Actually, I might fucking die. No way. There we go. Is it just the train station? Oh. 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 And slot. Do I need to find a ticket? Honestly, I'm not sure if anybody knows where I should be going after this. Feel free to let me know. I swear it was in this area that there was praying mantises. I may be insane. Swift sketches? Wait. Hold on, guys. This is ultra important. These are so cute! These are so cute. I love them! Awesome sauce. No, they're so good. Thank you. So I'm getting a commission from Jen. I'm getting chibis done so I can use them as like panel decorations, but also just general, I guess. They're so cute. Wait, oh, let me send this to my sister. I'm so excited. I'm gonna stare at these until they're done. Yes. Right? I'm especially thrilled about the Pomni one. And the poses are so good. I'm so excited. They're so cute. I can't wait. Thank you. That was one of my Christmas gifts to myself. No, I'm restarting. Ladies! You don't need this many fucking kids. Jesus. Are those teeth? Oh, they're probably just, They look like teeth. They're very cool. Like this. But they're probably just fossils. I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google where to go because I got lost last time in this exact same spot. Where to go after defeating Hornet? Do I have access to this spot? I don't know that I've been here yet. Oh, my nose. It itches. Fungal wastes. I don't think I've been there yet. Have I? Queen station next to the stack station, then head left to ascend to the top. We'll try. Yeah, I don't have it. We'll go to... Wait, they said Queen Station? Start at Queen Station. Wait, I always forget which control it is. Queen Station Dash. Next to Queen Station. Oh! Bro. That was my bad. Wait, no, I have been here. Right? I don't think I have. How did I miss this? Oh, my short friend, you caught me at the perfect time. I'm just about finished charting these noxious caverns. Very territorial types make their homes within this area. I'd suggest avoiding them when possible. Further below, some strange thin creatures gave me quite a scare. They seemed an intelligent bunch. The mantises. The mantises, right? In my youth, I have braved their caves, but I fear my matured physique wouldn't be able to outrun them when they turn violent. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I clicked the wrong button again. What key button do I have? For... Yes. To enter. I see. Okay. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. I'm a big fan of that. Oh, man. Ugh. There's a thing up there. There we go. I feel like I missed something up there. Really forcing me to get better at the downswing. Okay, we'll try again. There's something up there. I'll try to be faster. I feel like I should have probably practiced a little bit more. Got it, guys.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Okay. I'm normal. I'm normal about this. How how's your guys' nights going? I'll go down this way. Actually, I feel like I really need to go this way. I don't know why. Maybe I don't need to go this way. Oops. Okay. Maybe I do just need to go the other way. Man, I really wanted to avoid those things. Never mind. Wait, what did I pick up earlier? I don't want to go there. Get out of here. Man. Okay. Ugh. Okay, let me get some health before I do that. You guys know what sounds really good right now? Baked potato sounds awesome. We have plenty of, oh man. We have plenty of potatoes and it just sounds so good right now. I don't know what to top it with though. I see some people top baked potatoes with tuna, but I can't wrap my head around it. I don't know, something about tuna and potatoes together just rubs me wrong. I think if you're someone that enjoys baked potatoes and tuna, you may have something clinically wrong with you. I'm not gonna lie. Speaking as somebody who's never tried it, obviously. It just doesn't seem like they belong together. Okay. Round 5. There we go. See, it's not so difficult when you're normal about it like I am. That mushroom. It looks fishy.
Wow! Wow! Wow!
He's so cute!
Wow!
Oh!
Wow! Wow! Wow!
He's very cute.
Wow! Wow! Wow!
Oop.
Wow!
Why did that thing have such a deep death noise? Like the tiny mushrooms. I want them in a plushy form. They make me feel cute aggression, and I want to sit there and I want to squeeze them as tight as I possibly can. I'm smart. What's this? Another boss. Oh, this is the mama. Oh. he has well equipped for this side of the shot. Actually? Oops, that was my butt. That was my bad. Okay. What's this? Charm Notch! Hell yeah. Feel like there's something up here, but I can't get to it right now because I can't step on walls. Ah, okay. I should. What's this? Ah, I was about to ask how Hollow Knighting was going. Super well.
Wow.
It's going great. It's going so well. I'm a professional.
Wow. Wow.
Do I gain anything from massacring babies? I feel like they're gonna hurt me. Ugh. I'm so glad I didn't die. Ooh, dear. Fuck! Dude, those things are literally the worst. Oh. Oh, he's so cute. Let me save. Let me save. I'll get that later. Fuck! Damn. Oh, thank God. sure hope there's a safe spot somewhere. Here ends the pilgrim's way. Hellenist's heart lays open before you. Proceed onward to share in its glory. That is not something stable to walk on. Let me kill that thing. Please, I just want a bench. Where am I? Let's not do that yet. I swear I'm pressing down. Oh my god. I'm pressing. I'm normal now. Okay. Oh, they're shaped like mushrooms. That's cute. Because I remember where he was. This wasn't it. Something else, I can feel it. Okay, I see, I see. It would be nice to not be on 2 hearts, but we don't have the skill for that luxury. Fuck. Oh. Oh. Oh, I should have healed before that. I contemplated it. Then I changed my mind because I'm a dumbass. Huge lack of benches over there, I will say. It could be slow. But I think that may perhaps not be a me thing. For once. Realized this wasn't doing its thing. Okay. Oh man. I don't even remember where I went. They're not hard to fight. Okay. They're not particularly hard to fight. I'm just not good at it. The combination of the final hit and the balloon right here, fantastic noise. I gotta say, really liked that. They're just very tall. They're very intimidating. Hold on, let me readjust. Okay. What's this? Okay. Wait. Okay. Wait. Hold on. I moved my tabs around. Okay. Wanderer seeking death, welcome. May you find swift end upon our claws. Actually, other way around. I'm just that cool. Why did I think this was such a difficult area when I was younger? You know what? It may have been because I was using a controller. I think the PC controls are a bit easier, perhaps. This isn't a bench. Fuck. Nope, that was my bad. Oh. Alright, let's explore this really quick. Why did I do that? Okay. can't jump all the way to the top, so I need to go all the way back. Okay. What's that? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. This is great. Oh, this is fantastic. Finally. I've only been talking about this the whole time. Oh, I'm very excited about this. I feel so mobile. I feel good. We'll give it a shot. What did I... I didn't mean to do that, actually. Wasn't done with that area. Oops. One more time. Okay. Never mind. I didn't need it anyways. Wait. I lost. I like this tree. A journal left behind by a long-dead traveler. The words are written in forgotten dialect and difficult to understand. A relic from Hollow Nest's past. Hollow Nest's past. This item now holds little value except for those devoted to the kingdom's history. Oh. Very cool. I don't think there's anything else in that area. That was the entire Mantis village. It looks like I've got... Oh! Let's head up this way. Man. Yeah. So I want to go up to the Forgotten Crossroads. I know that there is a little thing I can't reach without the slide jump at the very entrance, and I do want to go there. I'm normal. I'm so normal. This is delightful. I love climbing on walls. Oh. I mean, this kid will appear again, right? Oh, I didn't beat him. I don't have to hurt them? Okay. No more baby genocide. I'm not doing that anymore. They don't hurt me. Correctly, I think there's actually, this over here is a hot spring. Not a hot spring, but definitely a resting area. Don't try to sneak past me, I can smell you. Do you collect a lot of Geo? Give me Geo and I can give you something. Yeah, sure. YOLO! Do you want them? If you really, really want them, I'll trade them for more Geo. Ooh. Okay, I can afford any of these. A precious thing, a beautiful charm. I made it for you. If you hold it, you'll feel a lot healthier. If you're afraid of dying, you need this charm. A very, very special and valuable charm. Do you want to hold more Geo? Hold this charm and go hunting. You're weak, aren't you? If you give me more Geo, if you do, I'll give you this charm I made. It'll make you stronger. Your enemies and everyone else will fear you at last. I'm not... I don't think I need to be stronger, but I definitely need more help. Oops. Will it break if its bearer is killed? Fuck! It's temporary? I'll save that for later. I'll save that for something important then. Oh wait, there was another thing over here, wasn't there? Nope, I'm seeing it, I'm seeing it. It's drop, dash, and then climb up, right? I'm so cooked. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm doing it at the wrong time. One last time. Ah. Ugh. So that wasn't the case. Either that or I'm just really bad at the game compared to what that level of skill need requires. Which, very possible. Yeah. I won't lie, I think I may need a new keyboard. I think I've killed the space bar on my keyboard, or jammed it, or something. Why did I do that? I misclicked. there's so many of them. I just saw the ones in the background. Hallownest seal. Oh, that's it.
Bapanada.
Apanada. Nope. I don't need your stuff. Oh, this guy.
Patmascio.
Atmosphere.
Patmascio.
Nice.
Patmascio.
I see. Okay. Okay. Well, this one's only one. I think maybe I'll save for a Lumafly lantern next. 1800. That'd be nice for those really dark areas, yeah? Let me put on my geo thing. Gathering swarm. I think that's it. Yeah. Oops.
Gorohodo.
Ooh, that's cool. A space might confirm that? That's crazy. I definitely can't do that. Dang. Hello? Huh? Are they in the walls? Oh, No, I think I was thinking of something else. Anti-O. That's so strange. I don't think there's anything over here. Oh wait, the fungal wastes are somewhere I need to be. Oops. I'm low on health. Oops. Maybe. Wait, no, it isn't. That's not a thing. Maybe this way? Hmm. Oops. Oh! Interesting. I think I'll figure this out next time. A little bit of a shorter stream today. But I won't lie. I'm a bit tired. Thank you everybody for joining, and I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Goodbye.